market line. The security market line stems from the capital asset pricing model, which makes the assumptions that investors are risk averse, they are rational, they are price takers, they lend and borrow money at a risk. They can lend and borrow money at a risk-free rate. There's no transaction costs, and all investors have the same expectations, and all the information is available to everybody. The CAPM equation estimates the return of an asset, which equals to the risk-free rate, and which is added to the product of the beta and the difference between the market rate and the risk-free rate, which is the market premium. And the market premium is basically what you're paying. The additional required return for the additional risk that you've taken on. So to test out the SML, I had to choose 30 randomized NASDAQ companies. I obtained a full list from their website. I assigned a number from 2 through 3,091 for each company or for each stock, and I used a random number generator online and pulled up those 30 random numbers. As an index, I used the S&P 500. Later on, you will find out that the S&P 500, the return for this isn't a very good benchmark for what I did. And also for the risk-free rate, I used a 1-year U.S. Treasury bond average for 2015. In order for me to obtain the betas for the stocks, I actually calculated them. I didn't go on Yahoo and just looked at the betas. I took the slope of the weekly returns of the companies against the S&P 500 returns and came up with those. And you will see that my data is pretty jacked up. Here it is. So as you can see, there's a negative trend that is completely going opposite of the security market line. The security market line is supposed to just predict the expected returns. These are the actual returns, though, that I plotted, and it shows that with the beta that we have, the higher it gets, the lower the returns that I've observed. And what's weird is that with the stocks that have negative beta, they actually have positive returns. And what that indicates is that when the market performs pretty poorly, these stocks will actually be the ones that will be performing pretty well. And so I could not draw up a conclusion yet because I need to use a better index for this, not just S&P 500. And also my risk-free rate, which is a 1-year U.S. Treasury bond, must be changed to maybe a higher bond that has a higher maturity, a longer maturity date, and it would actually, if I was able to fix the index and the risk-free rate, I would actually be able to have a negative line instead of a positive line. So it could, I don't know yet, actually follow the trend that we see right here. And yeah, so I don't know if the security market line is a good indicator of stock prices, or a good indicator of stock prices using beta as a the dependent value or independent value.
Let me just cut in for a second. What he's saying is 2015 was such a screwy year, and the line he has there, that SML line, it may turn out that line is supposed to be downward sloping. He's gonna do some more research on that. And if that line is downward sloping, then those points would fall on there. But he's still in the middle of changing some stuff, and that's partially my fault, but, I do want to note that he calculated the beta, and in past semesters in this class, I've had students calculate betas, which is a very time-consuming process, and my students typically take like half an hour to learn how to do it the first time. And for you to go through 30 data points like that without any training, I thought was really good.
It should be noted that for this type of research, it might be useful to use the alpha value, which is the excess return of the stock. And what the alpha value indicates is that it just finds the abnormal returns. It tells you which returns are actually statistically, I would say statistically, what do you call it, significant. So, yeah. Any questions?
Okay, good. Next person?